Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of River City 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr, and joining me is my good man, Matt Myers, who's crunching all the numbers to figure out how Richmond host a home playoff game and also host the final.
Yes,
They're
sir.
close.
Yes,
I think
sir.
we spent like 20 minutes trying to figure that out. Math doesn't work in my head.
I got you.
Yeah. So Matt, we have a lot to talk about. We have probably the game of the season, USL League One. Talk about a bitter tasting game in Chattanooga-ish to talk about. We have results that have impacted us, results that didn't impact us. Yeah, I all believe we control everything in front of us.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a fun week, right?
Has been.
Lots of games going on, kickers games or otherwise, and for the most part, I don't think it's possible to be a Kickers fan and not be really, really happy and really, really satisfied with where we are today compared to where we were, what we were talking about a week ago on this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it before we got on. I felt like our conversation before we get on are like really good. We should record those as well. But before we hopped on, we talked about it. Like, if you would have told us you go to Union Omaha, you go to Chattanooga, two notorious places in USL League One, and you get 4 points out of that trip, we would have took that like without anything.
Oh, taking that run faster than Bolaño's burning that little short guy in Omaha that he just schooled all day when they played here earlier in the month.
Right.
Would have been so happy with that. I mean, last time we were finishing up the conversation, I was outright saying no point even bothering to watch the Omaha's Tucson game. That's going to be pointless. Ended up being pointless, literally, for Omaha.
Tried to tell you.
You didn't think that was going to happen.
I did it, but I tried to tell you.
Yeah, so I mean, besides the fact that the game didn't end until like 4 a.m. or something because of lightning delays, how are you going to give up a goal 7 seconds into the game?
I don't know. That was such a weird result. When I woke up inside, I was just like, "What?" Like that was such a weird result. But I think the weirder result was what happened Wednesday night. And granted, we had two games to talk about, so we're kind of like mixing how we talk about each game. I think if we break down every single goal that happens on this game, I think we'll be on this podcast for 2 hours. And I don't think that'd be cool. So I think the talking points from the Union Omaha game that we should definitely talk about is set piece defending, quality passes into the final third, and this team's ability to fight back. I feel like those are kind of like the talking points you pull out of that Union Omaha matchup.
Yeah, I think even just the way the team started out, I think there's some noteworthy points there. You saw Candela come back in for the first time in quite a while, starting in Zaka's spot on Wednesday, which I think surprised a lot of us. Zaka was back by Saturday, so obviously it's nothing too big of a deal there, but that was a difference.
I think it was yellow card accumulation, which I did not know.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Zaka, so it would check out, right? You had Bentley getting the nod on the right wing spot that day, if I remember correctly, and it's a compact field, so kind of thinking about how to be able to make the pieces work together pretty well. It's probably the most unique field in the league at this point.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Unique's the nice way of saying absolute garbage.
It is. Unique is a nice way of saying that, man. And I mean, this team. It felt like the first half. It was like, all right, I can see a draw coming out of this game. Is it the end of the world? No, but a win would be nice. And then you kind of get into the second half, in which everything happened. It just felt like both teams was going blow for blow. And I think as a neutral, it's probably the best game of the season to watch. Just how
maybe
both teams
the
going
second
at
half. First half was probably not the most exciting of all time. I mean, Omaha had a few good looks. They hit the bar. Kira, I don't know if they were tough saves or just they were really hard hitting shots that made the save look impressive because he was parrying them and they were rebounding way away from
Yeah, I
goal.
think so. I think that maybe the latter half. I know there was the one shot to hit the crossbar and then the one shot for the fullback that Akira saved. They're probably just hard angles, but easy saves.
Right. And we've talked about that a lot, this year with, Akira's positioning, probably not doing, him justice a lot of times, for the quality, that he's putting forth because he ends up making it look easier than it would be for, sort of run-of-the-mill keeper.
Yeah, probably so.
But, I mean, Akira's probably they had, one, halfway decent look from Ethan Bryant in the first half, and that's probably about it, if I remember.
Yeah, it was just about that. And like I said, the first half of the game felt very even, but I tweeted at it in the game. I think my biggest frustration just came a lot of the passes we had going to Union Omaha's final third were just sloppy or misplaced, and that was kind of the theme throughout the game. Yeah. We had opportunities, even in the second half, even when it was tied or we were down, we could have built upon our lead. It was just the final ball just wasn't. Either the ball was played too far ahead or too short, or somebody was just losing in a poor spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost part of the road kickers DNA. They'll kind of have a first half, and I think we were joking about it. After the game, you're just kind of trying to rope a dope the opponent. Observe the body blows, and then punish them. Later on, because I mean, even the game Saturday was yes, you got and we'll get to that when we talk about that one, but felt pretty similar. Taking some body blows, but get ready to try to gas him out and set him up, hit him later on, and we've seen that with North Carolina. We've seen that with Fuego. We've seen that quite a few times already this year.
Yeah, we have, and I think the second half really displayed what this kicker team was about, mentally, because let me ask you this, man. When it was 2-1 in the 81st minute, were you kind of just all right, that's probably it?
When it was 1-0, the 70th minute, I was like, all right, well, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Well, yeah.
And then all hell broke loose.
Everything broke loose after that. I know it was a talking point on Twitter about the penalty kicks in this game for the Union Omaha matchup. To me, both of them, you can call them soft, but at the end of the day, if you give the ref a chance to call it, he's going to call it. And that seemed like that ref was calling anything physical within the box.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly one where if you're going to call one of them, you got to call the other one because they're basically the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Omaha fans need to shut the hell up. They cry about anything and everything all the time, and
like Chip said, you would think the team is ninth.
Well, you would think that this team has been bottom of the barrel forever. Everybody's out against them. Same with Greenville. Let's be real here. These are two teams that have never actually experienced any kind of adversity, and they're the biggest whiners in this league.
That is very much true.
Greenville talking about it's been so it's been such had too much heartbreak. Shut up. Come talk to us. 2017 through 19 and. Yeah.
Right. We were getting deliberately our stuff. I still remember the story how we just walked into the stadium and we are just like, yeah, we're losing today. We're just buying beers. That's how it was in 2018.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear about you. Oh, everybody's out, to get us, blah, blah, blah. No. Next.
No, they're not. But yeah, like you were saying, everything broke loose in kind of that second half. And I think the thing that kind of frustrated me the most out of all the goals that were scored in that game is definitely the one that made it 2-1 for Union Omaha, because Owe just totally just lost his man. It's kind of like the same thing that happened against Chattanooga to set piece defense. As always, as if one person more or less loses their man inadvertently.
Yeah, this is something I I feel like we've talked about off and on over the last years. Like it's gone in waves. There's been periods where they've been really good, defending those, and then we're in a period like now where it's happening over and over and over again. So it's definitely a point of concern, I think, moving forward. Being able to, okay, yes, if you're going to play a style that observes pressure and concedes corners, you've got to make sure that you're tight on those clearances and able to take care of that, because got away with that on Wednesday, cost the team 2 points on Saturday.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, like you said, it's something that we talk about in waves. Do you think we're talking about it and kind of making like a point to talk about it just because how good this team is in the open field defensively? Like, they haven't let a lot of goals out, probably say in the last 2-3 games from open play. It's kind of been set pieces or penalty kicks that's been scored against us.
I think we talk about it because it's visible, right? Because in soccer, goals are at a premium. Yeah. And then, when you see goals happen from something like that, it's like, okay, one time could be a fluke, it could be random chance. But when you start to see a pattern, it's like, this is something you all can work on. This is something that can be practiced and game plan for a little bit. Why is this continually popping up?
Yeah, that's very true. But I mean, like on the reverse side of that, you look at how our free kick was scored. I mean, our set piece was scored. And I don't understand what Union I was doing. And I don't understand how EVD was just so wide open on the back post.
Yeah.
I think he still might be back wide open on the back post now.
Whoever it is from Omaha, appreciate you, my man. Good looking out by not looking out at all, because holy crap, like I've never seen somebody that wide open, in a goal threatening position on a free kick before.
No, and the thing was, it was just like when he was open, I'm just like, I'm looking, I'm like, he's not that open. Like, there's no way. And yeah, he was.
Or wondering, like, did he just start in a stupidly offside position and he just stuck with it and hoped to get by? No, he was onside the whole time. He basically took had somebody marking him. He took one step back. The guy's like, oh well, he disappeared. He's fine. EVD's just like, sweet, back post. Let me just dunk it in from here.
Yeah, nah. And I mean, I think the goal that kind of caught all our emotions, we were all hyped with Stephen Payne, man. Like, I still don't understand how Stewie Ball got crossed the entire goal box without anyone touching it. It just Payne's on the back post, just crashing in and scoring.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of well, I think we need to do this goal a little more justice and actually kind of talk through the diagramming of it, because it was pretty nice here. So it starts with Blondie with the ball out wide. No surprise, it's all starting with him again. But he drops it back to, I believe it was Neil.
It went Bolaños, Neil, and then Neil splits two defenders.
So Stu's kind of making a underlapping run.
Yeah, to give it off to Stu, and then Stu squares his shoulders to the line and then crosses it across the box. But at that same time, I'm trying to think. Cesare was already off the field at that point.
Yeah,
Cesare was already. So Olsen, who was on, crashed towards the front, near post, and I think it caught Duhu's attention, because Duhu kind of stumbles and he doesn't know whether to dive out for it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And once he gets past him, I really wish we had different camera angles in USL League One. I just wish we had a camera behind the net so you could just see it. Because Stephen Payne's run from the backside, it's like no one just thought about him crashing in.
Yeah, he flat out beat his guy to the ball. And I mean, from there, something you or I could score.
Right. Well, hopefully we can.
Yeah. I feel confident in our skills that we could be able to tap it home from 2 yards out.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is a tough spot for defenders sometimes, because if you go to play, try to play the ball there, it's very easy to put it into your own net.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's can be tricky balls in that tight zone in between you and your keeper. And you're right, knew who might have had to try to pick how he was going to play it. Like, if he goes and really lays out for it, it's a situation where Olsen or somebody might be able to toe poke it in front of him and easily beat him at the near post because he's sold out. Or does he try to play it straight up? He ended up trying to play it straight up and didn't work out.
Yeah, didn't play straight out. He did it, and I'm glad he did it. But I think like the moment,
yeah. At that point, how are you feeling?
Oh, at that point, I was like, all right, we're good. We got the draw. I feel relaxed. In my head, I'm still thinking like, dang, there's an opportunity for us to probably get a win, but get the draw, get out of here, get charged up for Saturday.
Yeah, get the draw, still in first place.
Yeah,
we're in good shape here.
What was it? 96 minute? No, well, not really 94th. Audi gets fouled in the box.
Yeah, it was like 3 or something when it actually happened, and then just took forever for them to actually get around to taking it.
I felt like it took like an extra 30 minutes because I was just sitting there. I'm just like, in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, well, who's taking the PK? Because Emmy's off the field. I'm like, will it be Bolaños? What about EVD? What about Baby Neal? And then Neal gets the ball, and I'm just like, oh my god. In my head, I'm thinking like, what if he misses it? Like, what does that do for the psyche of this team?
How dare you?
Oh my god, because I was really freaking out. I was really just sitting there. I'm just like, oh my god, what if he misses it? What's gonna happen? What does that mean for the team? What does that mean for us? What does that mean? And he set it up and he scores. I'm just like, whoo!
No, he nailed a nice one in Toronto last year when Emmy and all of them weren't allowed to travel. So I was pretty confident in his abilities there.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where you just like, all right. Like, look, it's a resounding win. It's a great win. Definitely in a hard place to play in Union Omaha. But to get that win there and what it means for the rest of it, like I said, like this is a point where if we win the title, we can look and be like, we won the title because of, this game.
Yeah, definitely. At that point, puts the team up 4 points ahead of Omaha with only 5 games left. They're going to have the tiebreaker because Omaha has so many more draws. It means the Kickers will always have more wins than they do if they end up tied in the standings. So really, put the Kickers into pole position. Knowing that yes, a tough game coming up on Saturday, but Omaha also had a tough game coming up on Saturday with Greenville, and there's wiggle room. You don't have to be in a position where you have to win out to maintain.
Yeah. It does kind of feel like that where there is wiggle room. You're just like, all right, we can kind of get the status quo back together, and like we said at the beginning of the show, like if you would have told us at the beginning of the year, because I imagine when we all looked at the schedule and we saw that end of the year stretch where it was like Union Omaha, Chattanooga, we were like, getting 2 draws out of that will be good luck.
Yeah. Absolutely. I still maintain that if we'd gotten 2 points out of this last week, it would have been a successful week.
Yeah. It just felt as if, headed into the Chattanooga game. And by the way, I think what was it? Friday or third? No, it was Friday, I think. They signed a guy from Orange County Soccer Club, which, by the way, if you haven't been keeping up with that situation, is crazy, but let alone how Orange County's doing. But yeah, they signed the guy right before the game, but I'm just like, what are the odds?
Well, whatever. I mean, sign a guy who doesn't play for last place team in championship, big deal.
Yeah.
Another thing to note from this Omaha game, we talked about that EVD header. How nice is it, to get the whole former player scores against his old team, bit working in our favor for once.
Right. It felt so good. Because afterwards, I did Walking 90 with Chip, and Chip was just like that. He was like, "It's probably the best game I've seen." But the thing that irritated me the most was knowing that Nathan Audie had a hand in y'all scoring, and I was like, "How do you think I feel when we play NCFC and all these other teams that got forward Kickers players on it?"
Yeah. Freaking Victor Falk, scoring worldies against us, and
oh, God, yeah, Worldies and
Oleg's not running out of bounds for once.
Right. Like all these other goals that are just like, here we go. And going into Saturday, playing Chattanooga, it just sitting there. We're just like, all right. Because before that, the Badger number was 8 before the Omaha game. We won. It goes to 5. And you're just like, okay. So in my head, I'm playing the scenarios like, all right, Madison needs to lose or drop points. Charlotte needs to lose or win. All right. Yeah, Charlotte needs to lose or draw, and we need to win. So I'm like, all right, how is this going to go?
Dude, you're way too fixated on just clinching a playoff spot. That is a done deal at this point.
I know, but in my head, I'm just like,
I am not concerned about 6th place right now.
I'm not concerned about 6th failure. But I don't do bathroom on my head, so I don't know what needs to happen for us to clinch to buy.
It's winning. Who cares about the other teams right now? These other teams are meaningless trash to us at this point.
Just let me stress out in peace, man.
Look, if you want to worry about garbage teams like Forward Madison, who also hilariously lose at the buzzer against garbage teams like North Carolina.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a wonderful free kick, though.
Oh, it was a great free kick. It was also hilarious. If you want to worry about the results of 8th versus 11th, have at it. I'm more worried about how are we getting this by? How are we winning the league outright?
Well, see, that was the thing I was thinking about because in my head I'm like, all right, go and get everything settled this weekend. So next week we're home. Like the bye is there to take care of.
That's going to take longer just because Greenville and Omaha are competent teams, and maybe Omaha not this last week. We can rub that in more later on. But it's probably going to go down the last couple games to be able to officially lock that up. Keep stacking points. If they want to throw it away in the meantime, we'll let them. But realistically, at this point, those are probably the only 2 teams that can catch the kickers, barring something really weird happening.
Yeah. And it just seems as if like across USL League 1 this past week or so, like set pieces and penalties have played a key role in almost every game. Maybe outside of like one, but it played a key part in almost every game.
Yeah, those are things you can plan for. I mean, there's a reason you see, teams like the U.S. national team. I think remember at the last World Cup, England had a set piece coach, and they were working on those, and they got like 3 or 4 goals out of that tournament, off of various set pieces. Yeah. It's something that a lot of soccer teams have stolen from the NBA, the NFL, in recent years because it's a organized place where you can be able to get high quality chance on goal, and you'd be foolish not to do that.
Yeah, no, take an opportunity when it's there. And Richmond definitely had a chance to take an opportunity because in this game, not only were we up 2-0, we also went up a man. But I think, when you saw the starting lineup, what was your overall? What was your first initial thoughts? Because Zaka comes in the lineup, Matt Bentley starting out on the wing. What were you thinking?
Bentley wasn't in the team. EBD was.
Oh, that's right. My fault. I'm getting the 2 lineups confused. Not seeing Bentley in the lineup at all. Not even in 18. What were you thinking?
That surprised me a little bit, but again, I know he'd been coming off of an injury recently, so maybe 2 games in a week, it was going to be a bit much, and maybe turf wasn't going to cooperate with him. Hard for me to say. It's all speculation right now, but overall, looked more like the tried and true, which is what we know.
Yeah, no, tried and true is definitely what we know, and during the game, I don't know what it is about Richmond playing in Chattanooga. Like it just seems as if it's such a weird, awkward place for us to play at, and I don't know why.
I was thinking about the really weird pieces. We played there that stadium specifically like 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah,
I know the team's been ahead, gotten off to a 1-0 lead at least 3 of those times.
Let me see.
2020, Emmy scored, early. Last year, Olex, had that like solo run all the way up, the sideline, right after halftime, and then obviously, yesterday.
2021 we were up. Yeah, both times in 2021 we were up and we lost. Not 2019. Nope.
2019, they were still at that high school or whatever it was.
So both times in, if I'm looking, 2020 and 2021 we were up.
Right. So it was just the first one this year that hadn't happened.
Yeah.
So as weird as it seems, because they hadn't gotten the job done there yet, and frankly, you hadn't objectively looked very good there yet. They put themselves in a position every single time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hasn't always happened other places.
Yeah, no. But I don't know, man. It's something about, I guess it's the way how Chattanooga field is designed. Like, it just makes us feel very tight. It just like,
I don't know how you can think that makes it feel tight after playing at Omaha 3 days before.
I know. I guess because how, and I've never been at Union Omaha State, but just watching it on TV, like, it feels open. Like, you have the space on the sides. So it doesn't feel as, like, narrow compact. When I look at Chattanooga, just because of, like, where the team bench is, where, like, everything is so closed in, it makes it feel tight,
Yeah, okay, I can understand that part. I think it might be also the camera angles.
Yeah, probably that. But the way how this game started, I mean, first half, we go out there, we get a penalty. Because it felt like both teams were even. It felt like both teams. It kind of had the same feel again of the Union Omaha game first half, where it's like both teams are kind of just testing each other out, punching each other, and just trying to see what the other team's going to do.
Yeah, I felt like that undersells a little bit. I mean, first half was a lot of the Akira show. I thought, he was racking up some saves in there.
I think he ended the game with 6.
Let's take a look here.
I think
it says that they had 10 shots on target, so I guess that would be 8 saves.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, it was the Akira show. I mean, get the penalty kick there in the 41st minute. I don't know. It felt like kind of Lady Luck was on our side for a second. Like she was kind of sitting with Darren for a moment.
Yeah, and I think this is a team that doesn't dribble in the box very often. Because usually it's get the ball wide and be able to swing it quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, how often has Ethan Bryant been in the penalty area with the ball at his feet, and he can be shifty with it, and it worked out because kind of slid a pass into him. It wasn't like he was getting ready to shoot right at that moment, but the defender went for the tackle, completely missed, took out Ethan, and Emmy takes care of business there.
Yeah, take care of business. I mean, we're up 1-0. Emmy's 4 goals away now from 20, and I think
that's 16.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Like the club record is 21. I think in the season.
I don't think he's going to get there at this point with 4 games left, but be happy if he did.
Hey, look, I'm still holding out hope. The man's 4 goals away. I think he can get another 2 somewhere in there, and we'll see.
Yeah, it's always possible, but not the primary objective.
No, it's not the primary objective. It's not. But I mean, first half ends. In my head, I'm kind of just like, all right, just survive. Just survive. Get out of here. With the win, we're up 1-0. At that point, I don't think Union Omaha Greenville kicked off yet. So I think we were sitting on 47 points.
Yeah, I think they might have just kicked off.
Yeah, sitting on 47 points. And at that point, I'm just like, all right, another 45. Just hold on. We come out of halftime. Darren, and this is the second half where I don't think Darren, I don't want to say he tinkered too much, but I'm kind of wondering about the substitutes.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair question to be able to have because they weren't his normal rotation.
Yeah.
At all. So right at the half, you had Gordon come on for Bolaños, and usually you don't see Bolaños coming off right at halftime, but he was on a yellow. He had been involved in some physical battles, so I could see that being kind of a preemptive strike against him picking up a silly second yellow card. Gordon has some similar traits to him, and yeah, I think if it was a game where it's like in desperate need of chasing a goal or something else, maybe he keeps Bolaños on there, but it's calculated risk, and kind of paid off that at least this one.
Yeah, no, it did because Gordon came on and scored a really nice goal. I didn't. Now, don't do this, kids. Don't drive and watch the game on your phone. But I didn't get to see the goal. So, Matt, if you saw it live, do you mind describing it, friend?
Yeah. So, the ball ends up coming out wide to EVD, who's out on the left, and he's acres of space. So he's advancing up through the other through the Chattanooga half. And starts to drift his way inside, and he had every opportunity to just take a rip at goal. And I don't think anybody would have necessarily blamed him for taking a relatively open look within 25 yards of goal or so. He doesn't do that. What he does is he threads it past kind of across the box to Neal about. He's about 20 yards out, probably like near the corner of the D at that point. And he's got an open look too. He could have easily, tried to hit that and pick out, far post. And I don't think anybody would have questioned it. He didn't do that. What he does is he sees, Owain overlapping him, right outside. So he, just kind of plays a nice, not even a through ball, but just a nice ball right into Gordon's stride, and he hits it pure and clean first time right into the low far corner. Nothing that Aviles could have possibly done. And we've mentioned this a lot of times, but I think he might have the hardest shot on this team because when he hits it pure, that ball moves.
It does. It does. It is. Oh man, it does. Such a nice goal. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. At that moment, I'm like, all right, we're up 2-0. I think that was right around the 50.
It was like 52 or 53.
Yeah. I think around that time, I was just like, all right. I know Chattanooga. Chattanooga's going to either press the hell out of us and they're going to try to take a bunch of wild shots. Because I think the announcer said, like, they leave the goal. It goes outside the box for like 10. So I'm like, all right, Chattanooga's coming. Because they were already there. And, man, did they call, like, they went full out. I don't even think they had 3 defenders in the back because I know they were kind of playing a 3 in the back system. I don't think they had 3 in the back in some moments.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, it didn't happen right away. So, I had this stand out of, all right, let's pack it in, 2-0. Let's get the hell out of town right now.
Get out of here.
Hey, set up shop and, let Gordon run on the counter, because there's going to be space.
Yeah.
That opens up, and we know he can move. But for probably like a good 10 to 12 minutes, I'm not going to say that like it was all kickers or anything, but the game was pretty decently controlled for a while there. Like it seemed like the team was going to be able to just play out the game essentially.
Yeah, because I think at that time too, like Chattanooga takes the sub, they bring on Galidras, and we make a substitution. Well, we take off Payne for Simon Fitch. Which
that one surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, that's the one I was just like, and I didn't know if it was injured or not, or maybe they just saved it. I'm just like, I don't know about this one. Like, you talk, what about better defensive? I don't know. I don't want to be seen nitpicking, but I just think against their opponent, I would like to see Payne to stay out there. If it was any other team where we're up 2-0, I don't mind the substitute. I think it's just the opponent where I'm just like, you got to leave Payne on there.
I don't even necessarily mind Simon coming in because, I do think, he can be, a guy who can bring something to the table. I was just more surprised that it was for Payne and, not for, Stu, who is on a yellow, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could have, seen that because, if you're, defending, trying to run out the game, you might be in a position where, all right, take a yellow. Fine, whatever. But Stu obviously wouldn't have been in, that kind of a position to have that freedom to do so.
That was kind of a weird substitution in my head. I will say this: it seemed like all the attacks came from Chattanooga on that side. So I don't know if it was just like, all right, let's go a little bit more defensive. But yeah, you're right. To put Simon on that side would I don't know, kind of close to that.
There's something about that corner down there in Chattanooga, which is just a nightmare zone for this team because we talked about this previous years where the team was up and didn't end up getting it done, and I'm pretty sure every single goal in those games originated out of that same corner where our right-sided defense in that closed-in corner over there, whether it's from a free kick or a corner or whatever. I think every single one of them in those games, like last game it was on the other side of the field, but otherwise it's just little death zone for late game kickers defending for some reason.
Yep, pretty much sucks. It's not a good area to be in. Yeah, and even with the goal that happens, I'm personally blaming Ethan Bryant for it just because it was a poor giveaway that kind of led to everything. No one picks up. I'm trying to remember the guy who made the cross in. I think that might have been the Orange County guy, if I'm not mistaken.
I honestly don't remember. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, Gutierrez. That's Gutierrez.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Gutierrez who made the cross in. And it was just one of those things where I'm just like, because once again, I wish we had different camera angles in League One because only thing you see is Espinoza
tapping
in, but nails on the ground. You don't see Studio, you only see that. So I can't really tell what happened there, but I do. I kind of look at even just for the poor giveaway there in that moment that led to that chance. And it seems like my bad. From that moment on, it just seems as if like Richard was just under the gun.
Yeah, but something there was a moment in between goals that would have thought should have been able to help out.
Yeah, no, that's true. Oh man, I just hate playing in Chattanooga so much.
Yeah, so 74th minute, Lombardi for Chattanooga gets sent off. Second yellow card. I mean, legit yellow card. There were like a couple Chattanooga fans saying he was pushed. It was like I went back and watched. Like he might have got like a slight nudge from Zaka, but homeboy was barreling in already. A little nudge isn't going to make a change there.
Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm surprised. I know this kind of skipping ahead of this goal, but I'm surprised Galindres didn't get a yellow card for the shove on Jalen.
He did the second time.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, the second one he did.
Okay. I didn't see it. I was just kind of surprised. At first, I was just like, "Ooh, that's a nasty foul."
But yeah,
so
I was gonna say, down to 10, up a goal, 11v10 with 15-ish or so to go, you would think, all right, let's control this out. And I think this comes back to where you're talking about the substitutions and were they the right ones? Because almost immediately Darren makes a double change. He puts in Luke and he puts in Ani. Okay, Ani, that makes some sense. Luke, maybe not. But takes out Neil and Emmy.
Yeah, and that's why I was just like, all right, is he playing it more? I felt like it was more conservative, just like, all right, let's get our guys out of here. It's been a tough game. I know when we play Chattanooga, it is an emotionally charged game. I feel like Union Omaha, Chattanooga, South Georgia, those are really physical games for us. Like those games are more physical than normal. But okay, the MBY I can get that one. I still feel like you kind of need Neil on the field, and I think if you bring Pavone in, you can kind of take EVD off.
Yeah,
I feel like that would have worked.
Yeah, I think the issue is taking both Emmy and Neil out.
Yeah.
Like one or the other, I think we can work with it.
Yeah. Taking both because I'm trying to think that because Brian got subbed out too, right?
That was a little later after it happened.
Yeah. I mean, even after the goal happened, because once again, I don't think anyone picked him up. Um, the guy who's going for Chattanooga. But it's like when you take Brian off and we're kind of have to go for it, at that point, I was just like, all right, this game's going to be a draw or a Chattanooga win because I hate to say it, we don't have anyone on the field that can. I feel comfortable with winning this game with.
I think Gordon, can be able to produce something. And EVD was still out there, but I think he had basically shifted back into a midfield role.
Yeah, he did.
Eventually
He
at
had
that
to.
point.
We had no one to. We had no one to. We had no one that could be on the ball. But
Right.
I mean, like at that point, it was kind of just like, all right, it's 2-2, and now you're asking people to do things outside of themselves. Like you're asking Luke to be a goal scorer, which, as much as I love Luke, he's died. You're asking EVD to play in the center of midfield, which Chattanooga midfield is very physical, and EVD hasn't shown yet.
He's a big boy. He can handle that kind of stuff. It ended up being a front six of what was it at that by the end of the game? Zaka, Ani, Olsen, EVD, Luke, and Gordon.
Yeah, and I don't see a creator anywhere in that.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I think EVD could be a creator in a pinch, but I mean, most likely it's hey, let Gordon run and try to make something.
Yeah, and I mean, like, granted, we had a free kick, and in my head, I was scrambling to think, like, all right, well, I was like the penalty kick, like, all right, who's going to take the free kick? And I'm going through the list, and I'm like, well, it can't be Luke, can't be him, can't be him. I honestly forgot EVD was on the field. I would have liked to see him take it versus on Gordon, just because of where it was in the field.
Yeah, I was fine with Gordon taking it.
Yeah,
to be honest. So, but yeah, I mean, just kind of roll the dice on going all in on shoring it up, and literally within 2 minutes of making those subs, they tie it up, and then it's like, all right, well, now what?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like Chattanooga was fine at that point of getting out of there with a try. I mean, I imagine you have to be. You're down 10. You're down to 10 man. You're playing the number one. They're playing not the number one seed. This is college football. You're playing the potential number one seed in your own place. You come out there with a draw, and you guys still feel good about it. But this is always going to be a difficult game because these are the two highest scoring teams in USL League One, but also, I hate to say it, probably the two most leagueiest defenses as well. I think it's been a while since either team has kept a clean sheet.
I mean, quite literally, that's not close to true. It's the number 2 and tied for number 3 in goals against. Yeah.
Oh, see? The announcer's lied. Because he was really making it seem. I don't know, man. Also, this announcer was like, every time he talked, it would happen. He was like, well, Chattanooga played Union Omaha, and they went down to a man, and look what happened there.
Look, I mean, that's true, but and granted, I wasn't really listening to the game at all because I was watching college football at the same time, and that had the audio, and I had more of the eyes on this game. So trying to balance things out. But yeah, like Omaha's got 27 goals against. Kickers are 32. Greenville and Chattanooga are 34.
Yeah.
So it's I understand the thought process there because if there's one thing you want to criticize this team on, it's they haven't kept that many clean sheets really this year, and that would be nice if a couple of those started showing up in the column as well, because help minimize stress a little bit and knowing that they can finish out a 90 without conceding it at all. But what can you do?
It'll be great. Will be great to see. So man, before we not wrap up the show, but start to kind of close out the show, like we said, 4 points. I think the bigger questions that we got to ask is definitely set piece defense, during substitutions in the second half. I think those are kind of minute points, but outside of that, man, I feel kind of positive, and I also don't feel as bummed off because Central Fuego kind of blew the whole thing up by losing 3-0 to Charlotte. So
Dude, that'd be
they're
all.
losing.
If that Fuego team wants to come to City Stadium on Saturday, I would love it
I'll
because
gladly love it. I will gladly accept it.
they look bad.
Yeah. So as we sit here now, we're on 45 points, 4 games left. Kind of bookend home games with 2 road games kind of squished in there. How are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling now at this point?
Feeling confident. So depending on how you want to look at the numbers. So if you're looking at it from, the Elliott perspective, here we need a win. You get 3 points, and on Saturday, and the team will officially qualify for a playoff spot. For me, I'm looking, higher ground already. I've already mentally put us in the playoffs because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm targeting at a minimum second place right now. So Greenville's on 40 points. So they're 5 points behind us. We have 4 games to play. My goal here is I would love to have us locked ahead of them before we play them on the last day.
Same.
Right.
This is my thing. I do not want us. Let's see. Trying to make sure I look at the schedule right before I say this. Those last 2 games, I don't want us to play for anything. I want more or less days to be locked up. I don't want to go into that last city derby with us needed to win to get at home. I want to have it already locked up. I definitely don't want to have anything to play against Greenville. I don't. My nerves going to handle it.
I don't know if it'll be able to happen with that Madison game, especially for first place or for the bye, just because not that many games left. Like we would need help, to be able to make that game meaningless as well. Because let's say that the Kickers win on Saturday, and let's say they win the following Saturday down at Tormenta, that would get them up to 51. Greenville can max out at 52. So they have Northern Colorado, and they have Tucson, their next 2. So if they drop a point there, somewhere, and the Kickers win those 2, they're good.
Yeah.
We'll finish out of Greenville. But Omaha, same sort of thing. They're on 41. So they would have to drop somewhere in the meantime. They have Colorado and North Carolina in the meantime. So it's possible, but I don't think it's probable that both games will be meaningless. I think there's a reasonable chance that last home game could be ceremonial more than anything else. And that's my objective. I would not interested in that game meaning a whole lot. I'd love to be able to give Palmquist a game. Be able to give a couple other guys a game that week and have be just a celebration.
Yeah, I would honestly love that. I mean, also oh man, it would be great. It was just a celebration.
Yeah,
it just seems like every time for the Richmond is like we get to the end of the year, and it's like that last game has to be something for us. Like you go back look at 2020, Chattanooga. You go back to even last year, Tucson. It's like, I just don't want that to be the last game. Because so far we're 0-2 in those situations, and I don't want that.
Fair. I think the other thing to keep in mind is there's a little bit of wiggle room. There's not a ton. They get 1 mulligan at this point, and I'd rather not cash that in early.
No, me either. Let's real quick. Let's talk about these 4 games coming up. At home against Central Valley Fuego, on the road, back-to-back games against Tormenta and Fort Madison, and then we close out at home against Greenville. 12 points still to play for. How do you think we do in those 4 games?
I think at least 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah, at least 7, which would get us to 52, which would mean that Omaha would basically have to win out.
Yeah. 7 would make me feel good. I think this team has potential to maybe get 10. Because I think each of the next 4 games are winnable.
They're all
I think,
winnable,
yeah.
but I'm factoring 7 into the potential of maybe not trying entirely too hard the last home game or something weird happening somewhere. But I think 7 is a completely reasonable number for the last 4.
Yeah. Definitely is reasonable. Well, man, we'll see. We'll see how this team goes. Also, shout out to Tizani, who won Player of the Month. I
Obviously,
also like the way how Darren is doing his best to be coach of the month, but he's really not like if he's even the possibility, he's like, I'm just gonna draw a random game here.
Can we talk about USL awards real fast?
The intern just forgot to upload it. It was in the drafts.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Oh, I think you were talking about how they just did Coach of the Year like on the 15th for August.
No.
Oh,
We're talking about last week for Player of the Week. How are you not going to give that to Jonathan Bolaños? Okay, yes, Kazay Sterling scored a hat trick in his second game of the week. The penalty and like a couple tap ins. Big deal. What happened when they went head to head? He didn't do a damn thing in that first game. So he gets it because he's able to load up against a bad team. Come on.
You know how it is, man.
I know how it is. It's nice when you can clearly ignore half your week.
Yeah. We want the bigger awards, in which we are. We're in contention to still get all these bigger awards.
Yeah. Ain't right. Give our man his shine.
You're right. Personally, man, as we sit here, how would you feel about this team? Not how would you feel about it, but what would it do for this team confidence to win a regular season title?
I mean, I think it would do great because that would lock up home field, and I'll take this team at home against anybody in this league any day.
Yeah.
Like I also know that there's still this stupid narrative of the Kickers are bad on the road. That's a load of absolute crap as well. Because if you look at the away table right now, look who's that in second place right now, the Richmond Kickers.
I'm not gonna lie, when I looked at that, it caught me so much by surprise because I looked at it last night and I was like, all right, well, we got to draw. Let's go see how we do it. Wait for him. But I looked at it, I was just like, we're second? Like this?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't complain, man.
No, because a lot of people talk a lot of shit out there and don't actually do their research. They just go off of preconceived notions and don't pay attention to what actually happens on the field. There's chat about all that, and then you show people evidence, and they're I don't know. Get over yourselves, people.
Right. I mean, hey, this team is doing this thing. I think this is definitely I think this team at the beginning of the year and definitely last year would have walked out of this game probably with just 1 point. And we would have been like, all right, good. I think walking out of these 2 games with 4 points, I think it does some confidence in it. I also think in a weird, twisted way, and I'm not trying to just, be positive for sake of being positive, but dropping points against Chattanooga keeps this team on its toes. You get what I'm saying? Like, it keeps this team a little hungry.
That's one way to spin it, sure.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to spin it in tinted glasses, but just like, you can't rest on your laurels. You can't be up 2-0 and just give away the lead like that.
I get the impression Darren is not a guy to let people get comfortable no matter what.
Oh, yeah, probably not. But we'll see, man. Anything else for you before we wrap up, buddy?
Shout out to Omaha for just having the absolute worst week in the world, possible.
Yeah, this week's been pretty rough.
You go out to Tucson, worst team in the league, and get absolutely blasted, by them in front of literally nobody. Come home, you get 2-1 and just pull a North Carolina FC and drop 2 stoppage time goals to the Kickers. One of them on pretty needless penalty late in the game. And if that's not good enough, you follow it up 3 days later, go up 2 men, and you do the same thing again and give away another stupid penalty against 9 men. How are you going to do that?
I didn't get it. Honestly, when I saw Greenville go to 9 men, I was like, all right, it is what it is.
It was probably the ref's fault, though.
I'm just going to say it, man. for OU Omaha to have the game in hand lead that they had, and for them to be in second place now, being tied up on everything, you guys kind of fumbled it. And to walk away from this week with only 1 point, that's not too good. Not too good.
Yeah.
But hey, we move back to the kickers, and if I'm looking at the table, right, Richmond is right now on their longest unbeaten streak with 5 games, bookended by draws and 3 games in between, but 3 wins in between. But hey, that's positive. We're doing great. So hopefully we can keep that trend up.
Yeah. Good news. The team's only 4 goals from setting the League One single season scoring record, and if they can, get that in the next 2 games, they'll do it they'll have broken it in the same amount of games that North Texas had. So I have no doubt in my mind they'll break it overall. Just because it's only a goal a game at this point, and we got a couple home games coming up. But record-breaking offense live at City Stadium on Saturday. Let's see it.
That would be really dope to do. Really dope and really cool to do for this team. Also, shout out to you, Matt, because you just dropped another article on our good friend Hugh Roberts, which, by the way, you guys should go read. Go check that out because it's a really good article, and Hugh liked it as well. So
more coming, I promise.
More are coming. More are coming. We promise. We're getting near the end, and we're starting to drop off all these articles. But as always, Matt, I appreciate you for doing this show with me, buddy.
I appreciate you doing actually all the work for it. I just talk. So it's awesome.
No problem. As always, listeners, we will holler at you next time, and we'll see you guys next week. Be easy.